Hello. Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Kyle Lowry. Whoa, dropped a box. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I'm the producer, Matt Duncan. Freddie, how are you doing today? The Raps are having a grand time. Oh boy, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, brother.
Let's get into this stuff.
Saying goodbye to this Christmas tree. Tough time for the Raps. You know, happening. It's a perseverance vibe. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, it's one of those seasons for us, and we're just you guys obviously talk about it in the podcast, but we're just hoping that all our guys are healthy and recovering, and that's what's important first, right?
You damn right.
So
yeah, we got a really solid pod. My brother Miguel is on it, and George Brooks as well is back. She's amazing. We talk about a bunch of stuff. Trade deadline. Coolest NBA players. So, make sure you check that out. But Matt, if people want to help us out, make us rich, support us, taste some hot sauce, perhaps have a warm head. How can they do all those things?
Well, as I've been saying recently, we do have these link trees set up on our Instagram and our Twitter. Please give those a click because they'll take you to everything you need, all our podcatchers, all our social media, all our website stuff, as well as the Sonar Network that we are on. They're adding new podcasts all the time. Welcome to Alana Johnson, to the family and her self-esteem party. We've got
my bro
another
Miguel
one on.
Guest of the month. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and we do have Miguel on this episode as well. He's the guest of the month for the Sonar Network. So you can, I think on our page, he'll pop up because he's been on our show a bunch of times. And they do a delightful little Q&A with him, which are always fun. You always learn something new.
Oh, yeah.
So check that out. But after you do that, and while you do that, make sure to check out our Patreon if you want to support. Also, yes, we're putting more effort into the YouTube. Getting a lot of good feedback on the YouTube, trying to make it a little more user-friendly. I'm putting chapters in now so you can click on what you want to watch.
User-friendly, baby.
Yeah, I'm all about the user-friendly. I'm trying to take the advice of Dan Gallia, who gave us some good wisdom the other week. So, check out the YouTube. And if you could, just give us a subscribe or a like or whatever, that's what helps us keep building on this thing. The likes, the subscribes, the ratings. I know it only takes a little minute, but we really appreciate it. And winter's coming to a close this week, Freddie, but you still need a toque. You know what happens in April when you get that, you think it's going to get nice. You have a couple days where it's 20 and then it drops again and dumps 15 centimeters of snow. Your ears are going to fall right off your head, right off your bloody head.
So save your ears, grab a toque. Matt, you're a goddamn pro. I'm lucky to have you. Folks, this guy's the whiz. Get ready for some hot audio stings.
Whoa.
Matt's he's on fire these days. And I can't thank him enough. So thank you, good sir.
You're very welcome.
But, just on a serious note, as we always do before we get going on the podcast, March 13th is the anniversary of Breonna Taylor's passing and or lack of justice and, arrival of the case. So keep fighting. It's important. And I'll also say on a positive note, shout out to the WNBA for celebrating 25 years. So this is going to be their 25th season, which is so cool, so exciting. And
so they were kind of in line with the Raptors when the Raptors came in around the
yeah,
same time.
yeah. Those leagues time, those two things time out like pretty close to exact. I think. I think the WNBA is a little bit older, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we can get to the hard facts on that one.
On a quarter century, you know.
Hell,
that's a
yes.
fun cake to have.
You better believe it. But yeah, let me also say, Black Lives Matter, defund the police, and email your city councilors. So there's a huge vote in the Toronto City Council today, or a big case before the Supreme Court. So make sure you get in there and make sure your voice is heard. Maddie, if you feel like we're ready to talk some ball and we're good to go, please, sir, just give me those words that I love so much. The sweet words, okay.
Ooh,
Okay, let's get going here with the first guest. It's been a little while since he's been on the podcast. I'm pretty sure he's been on it during the pandemic. He's none other than my brother, the star of the Beaverton, also on the Lady Dicks, is Sketch Troop Tony Ho with CBC Podcasts. He's on Because News as well right now. He's killing it, and he's ready to talk some Raptors ball. I don't know if we're in the same Raptors headspace, but we're probably pretty close. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Miguel Rivas.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Lobby Samba.
I wasn't sure if Lobby Samba was coming back, or if I was coming back, or maybe if I said something wrong in my last appearance, or just like family dynamics in general, but like wasn't sure if I was banned from the pod, so I'm glad to be back, I guess.
No, you're back, a forever guest. Lobby Samba,
always ready to go, Miguel.
That's like that's an in your bloodstream, style beat, I think.
I should try and get Blobby Samba as like my handle on PlayStation. That would be fun.
Matt would sue the pants off you. So I don't even think you should try.
You seem litigious, Matt.
What's that?
You seem like you sue a lot. Like you.
Oh,
a low threshold for suing someone, so I don't want to push it.
Army of lawyers for sure. Okay, let's bring on guest number 2. She's on the pod a couple times. Kind of started doing the pod recently. She's hilarious, an amazing comedian, living in LA, hardcore Raptors fan, biggest Stanley Johnson fan I know of, true Stanimal fan. Also check her banner because it's a perfect Raptors like celebration banner. You can check her out on Better Than Vegas. And without further ado, give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for George Brooks.
Whoa.
Similar vibes on the songs.
This is my song, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Feels right.
Tempo's really slow. I do apologize for that.
This show nails the signature songs, I gotta say. Like, wow.
And George, I do apologize that this song will follow you, like the movie It Follows, which I've never seen, but I kind of think it's like that.
It's a great movie, and you nailed it, Fred. Great reference.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's just jump right into Raptors talk. Maddie, I know you're there. I don't know why I always have to say that, just to tell myself I know he's there, right?
No, if I'm not.
But Matt, I know you are there. Please give me your most delicious, amazing Raptors sting.
This sting goes out to the top undrafted player in Raptors history, Aaron Bynes.
It's baby. Wait for it. Oh, I thought the beat was going to drop.
There's no.
Just the anthem.
Much like a Baines layup, it will not drop.
Aaron Bynes. I feel, Matt, if you're gonna do the anthem, I'm gonna try and instead of my I'm gonna throw in the Baines.
I'd like to see you learn that part of the anthem. That'd be kind of nice. You stood up.
Yeah, you know what? I'll practice the anthem.
Pull
for
out your
next month.
knife. Pull out your knife. Put it on your hat.
That's not a knife.
Wow.
It's a Foster's.
just Australian disrespect to start the pod off.
Love the Aussies.
Yeah, love the Aussies. You know, our opposites are. You know, we share some stuff. Right? Kind of. I don't know. Okay, let's go to the
That
first
genuine
Raptors.
reach out was the hardest slander, actually.
You know. No, just kidding. Island of prisoners. No worries. Let's go to the first Raptors question. Oh my God, those are my questions from. Here we go. Sorry guys, those are my old questions. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Right, yeah. So it's basically just that the Raptors started 2-8. Then went 5-17. And Miguel, I'll go to you first on this one. Before getting COVID. So it's kind of like the ship was like a little bit righted. Obviously, we started in a hole. But our plus minus or net rating or whatever was the top 10 in the NBA. I think it was like 8th at one point. So things were pointing up. Then 3 of our 4 best players get COVID, and things are looking very bad. There's been some okay bad games, but there's also been some bad games. How devastating a blow do you think this is going to be in the end?
I think we still have to wait and see, but this next little stretch before, the trade deadline, let's say the next 5 games are essential. If they drop 3 more games, they're in trouble. They're going to be completely out of the ability to play up again into a solid playoff position, I think. But they're expecting to get a bunch of players back, except every player who's had COVID and comes back on other teams says things like, my bones hurt and I'm so tired. I have to lie down all the time. So, if all of our best players come back, but they're recovering from COVID, it's kind of like, can we expect them to jump back in and play the way they were playing? I'm not entirely sure. So I'll say that I'm extremely nervous.
Yeah, I think that's a really, quite apt. And, if you think about like guys like Tatum, Mo Bamba, who's obviously not a star, but, some people have had really adverse effects. Russell Westbrook got COVID, then he came back and got injured, and everyone was like, this guy sucks. And it's like, pretty sure Aaron Baines potentially had COVID coming into training camp, as I've heard.
That's why he plays like that.
On several pods, but it's also it's a privacy thing, right? So we'll never actually know who had COVID when, unless they come out and say it, as is their right. And it's going to be interesting to see how interesting in a horrifying way, how it affects them. Like they're all a high defense intensity guys. Where are you at, George? Like how big of a blow do you think this is going to be? Or are you in Miguel's camp of kind of like you're just nervous and waiting to see?
I think it's going to be a big blow. That said, the strange thing about this season is that any other team can just suffer this blow in a couple weeks. So it's hard to tell like how it's going to affect us in the
good
end.
Point.
Also, the other thing is like, I'm guessing most of the players actually had COVID since they were out for so long, but some of that might have been like, they had it, but they weren't sick. Like, Fred VanVleet's girlfriend posted a photo today and he was actually like in the photo, on her Instagram, and he looked not super skinny or anything.
Nice
like,
sleuthing.
What? Yeah. Well, I just follow her a lot. I'm like, how does she do it? But remember when Jimmy Butler came back, he was like so skinny. So we'll see. Like, I guess Nick Nurse said like some players will be back soon. I think Fred will be in the next game. But then I think other players, we'll see like who comes back when. Obviously the sicker players are who I think will take longer. And I hope there's no one. I shouldn't hope COVID on anyone, but if I had to, I hope the sickest is Flynn and
you have a priority ranking. Wow.
He's so young. He's gonna he probably has all these antibodies already. Like,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, we're epidemiologists, so I feel like it's fair for us.
This
I mean, I can definitely say that word as well. I just choose not to.
Oh man,
It trips me up every time.
when I started to say it, I was like, here we go. Am I going to stick the landing? But I just try to
Virus
get to
guys.
the eologist part. Yeah. Okay. Let's.
he's
Sorry,
from the
George.
Pacific Northwest, so he's probably pretty good with like chills and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like OG gets hurt and sick all the time every year. So I really hope that he didn't have a severe bout, because I feel like OG's going to come back and we're going to expect so much out of him. And I hope that he didn't get floored by it, for goodness sake.
That's kind of what I'm scared about, you know, for all these guys, because they all cover so much ground, and that's a big part of like what makes them defensively what they are. You know, Fred has like the most miles whatever run by any player usually. Pascal, when he's free safety, is just that's how he kills it. And you know, obviously OG is like a legit 1 through 5 type defender. So yeah, George, let's sorry, go ahead.
I just want to say I'm the most nervous about Pascal though, because he was sick first and he's still out, and he's already like kind of a lean guy. So I am a little nervous about him, but hopefully it's all good.
I think I heard Cat missed this has to be fact checked, but I think I heard Cat missed 25 days, which seems so long. Whereas Karl Anthony Towns, I feel like he missed 25 days when he got COVID because he has the worst luck in the world. So I hope, and Pascal's already missed like 18 days, so it feels yucky.
Yeah, no, I mean, we definitely the games lost to COVID is adding up and adding up quick. Like I know some other teams had a lot of people with COVID at the same time, but you know, I can't think of, you know, if this is the Lakers, we're talking like LeBron, Davis, Harrell, and their next best player missing basically one of the most important times in the season. So it's pretty, I mean, the Raptors are definitely getting up there as far as like, this has been just about as bad for them as it possibly could be. And, you know, hopefully I'm saying that with like the baseline being them, you know, not getting too sick. But yeah, George, let's go to the next question here. I just kind of wanted to, where was it? Yeah, just kind of deadline stuff. What are you hoping will happen versus what do you think will happen?
First of all, is my mic like really acting up?
I am hearing some snap crackle popping.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's you.
What if you ask Miguel this question and I'm going to sign on my laptop?
Let's do it.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's not mine.
Okay.
I'm into it. Yeah, Miguel. I mean, you know, we talk basketball, no worries here. But
Let's do it.
yeah,
this is just
Let's
like a
talk some
late night
ball.
phone call between two bros that we do every night, anyways. So,
what's yeah? Well, what do you think the is going to happen versus what you want to happen?
My instinct tells me that they're going to do nothing. I feel like Masai and Bobby, maybe they'll make a minor signing or a minor tweak, but I feel like they are probably going to ride this one out, meaning this season. So much has been up in the air. So much has been strange. They're in Tampa. People are sick. What's going on? I don't think they would ever tank, but I feel like they'll just kind of let the chips fall where they may. But what I hope happens is that they can somehow make a big swing with some bench pieces for someone who can fit in. However, getting someone to come to Tampa and fit into this weird season feels like a tall order. So it might just be best to let everyone keep playing and bonding and try and give another run at it next season with a better off season, hopefully, in terms of talent.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the exact same place. Like what I think will happen, you know, I keep trying to trace like in my brain, like what, you know, things are not good. So it does seem like, you know, action is like around the corner, but also I think I've like been a fan of Masai Ujiri long enough to know that like he doesn't let other people or like, you know, the situation dictate his moves. Like he has a plan that he's willing to sweat it out to, you know, kind of like execute. And, you know, I think like also watching him for years now, it's like he really prides, control. And I think that's why he hasn't, kind of clamored to take big swings in the draft. Because when he drafts late, he can kind of just do the work and make sure he gets a good player and make sure the development system we have, which is elite, turns that player into the best possible version of themselves. And then therefore, like, that's how value is acquired. However, the chest is like a little bit bare right now. So there's that. So for me, it's hard to say, but I think I want a Norm trade. I think we're in that weird Terrence Ross type of space where we have to take a good player, not Kyle Lowry, and exchange them for some assets, like potentially another player that's good. I mean, the deal has to be good, right? Because
but what would be the point of trading Norm other than to like make something more happen out of this year? Like, we got to win this year and place well this year. It feels like just not that important.
I think that's a really, really good point. That's kind of what I'm stuck on. But I think the reason I, not hoping, but like, I think I'm down with is because I think if you use him to target a player like a big or something that like you want long-term and, their contract works for you, because a big part of it is, we love Norm and we have his like player rights, but he might just command a lot more money than the Raptors are comfortable with.
So remind me, is he an unrejected free agent this summer?
He is. Yeah.
He is.
So he can basically
get paid.
Yeah. He's had a bunch of 30-point games. He can definitely take the most amount of money offered to him. But, again, like, it all depends on the behind closed door relationships and that sort of thing. George, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, I'm back, baby.
No snap,
I'm good.
No crack, no pop.
Yeah, I changed some stuff up. I don't know why I'm so like, anyways, our internet, it should be better than this.
Hey, been there.
Hi. So I only caught the end of it.
Forever thought.
I also think we should trade Norm. I don't really want to, but I never want to trade our players unless it's the entire bench, and then I'm fine with it. But I think for all the reasons you said about Norm, I think you and I listen to the same podcasts is why we're feeling that way. But you're right. Norm might really command a lot of money, and remember, Norm is really good right now, so it might be his biggest like trade value ever. Yes, he's playing so well, but like he might not later. So it's like, maybe trade him when he has the most value, get somebody for him instead of this summer when he wants more money than he really is probably worth and can get that from some other team that doesn't really know. So I think,
whose value is high as Boucher as well, right? Like Boucher, hard to imagine he'll have a higher value than he does right now.
That's a pretty good point. He's getting paid $7 million a year. There might be some options out for him depending on what you want, which is a big, but also, I think there has to be some creativity. But sorry, George, were you going to chime in there?
I thought about Boucher as well. I don't want to trade him either. I think it's so nice having a good Canadian on the team. But yeah, I think he would also be a good trade. People really like him. I don't think they want to trade him though, because I don't know. It's hard. Well, it's also like all the salary stuff is really not confusing to me, but it takes a lot of research to figure out like salaries.
Yeah.
It's confusing to me. It's very
complicated
to me.
Yeah, like I understand the concept. I'm like, oh, you want me to look at everybody's contracts up and figure it out? I really want to do for trading. I just want to grab a bunch of bench players and trade them for just a different bench players, because our bench sucks.
It's really bad.
We're really bad, and like there's other bad players around the league that are better that we could maybe like have. So
it does feel like some benches are killing us.
Every bench is killing us. Every bench.
But I also feel like there's a part of that has to be like a health thing, because it's kind of like when we're healthy, it's the guy, when you're talking like Utah and, all these people like fighting for minutes, like, the bench should kind of be like, actually, I guess it's rough if you consider Baines is not playing well at all. So it's kind of like our 5 guys plus Boucher, and then after that you're searching. So fair enough, you know. It's a bad bench.
Boucher and Bembry are the only
Bembry's
bench.
all right.
I think he's really good for our team. I like Bembry a lot, but like I wouldn't mind trading Davis for somebody because like I think he has a little worth, but I don't think like I think he's real bad. So maybe him and McCaw.
Yeah, I wonder if people want McCaw. He seems to have like a high reputation as a player, like among the player pool and with coaches.
Well, I think he's a talented, high IQ player. And you know, if you check out I think it's the most recent Open Gym, they go through some of McCaw's story, and man, has he had a tough time the past little while, and you know, had to basically decide to begin a surgery process after he had quarantined and arrived in the bubble in Orlando during the playoffs.
I remember.
Right. Yeah. So it's really, he's had you know, there's a reason all the team clapped when he played, because, you know, some players have a rehab journey, and he's definitely had a serious journey back to the court.
You know, the thing about Norm being so expensive is maybe this is a pathetic way of thinking, but the Raptors are going to have a lot of money to sign someone very strong, and because they're not they saved up all this money for Giannis that they're not going to spend, and I don't think they should max out Norm or any other player who doesn't deserve it. But you know, I think giving Norm a huge raise, it kind of can have its benefits in terms of upholding the culture and rewarding players who want to play here. But maybe this is all defeatist thinking.
Hey, no, I mean, I think there's a patient approach that's needed here, and you know, re-signing Norm to a number that you like might work. I just I feel like there is, you know, you're starting to run out of room with OG at 18, Fred at 23, and Pascal at 33.
But yeah. Also, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say and we have to remember Norm is playing so good right now, but that's because he's starting. He probably wouldn't be well, maybe he would be starting, but
I think he is now, because Baines experiment I think is over.
Yeah, but I mean, next year, what if we had a big and Kyle came back? Norm would be off the bench, and he's really that's the thing about Norm is he's amazing, and then he's not. Remember the playoffs last year? It's in moments when we really need him, he I feel like he doesn't. I'm not trying to hate on Norm. I'm just saying.
Let me just say, because Norm does step up when he's needed. He's had some serious, the leaning dunks, last year when he got to play against Boston. But I think also the fact that Nurse didn't trust him early on was wait, is Norm not good? You know, watching Brad Stevens trust guys and play them was oh, well, what's going on here? So if the coach doesn't trust him, then he hasn't earned it, and you know, we don't get to know all the in betweens. But
I guess we're wondering now, is Norm's high quality performance over the last pretty much the whole season, but really this last 2-month stretch, is it a mirage? I'm not sure. I think it's a pretty accurate picture of what he's capable of, and he's better than I imagined at scoring ever. He's a truly elite scorer. The problem with him is that he just doesn't really look like he can do anything else beyond that. So I believe type of players, he might not be that.
I believe George's cat agrees. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
No, I just had to get a cat joke in there. I'm into it.
More cats, I say.
More cats. Come on.
Norm's been getting better at making plays for other people. I don't hate Norm. I just don't know where he would fit in a roster for more money. He's really good. I just don't know. I just don't know.
If Lowry's gone, him on the starting lineup seems good to me. He is an NBA starter in this league.
I agree, but he's not a point guard, right?
No, he's definitely an off guard. He definitely. I mean, we trust him to bring the ball up and stuff, but he doesn't have vision for running plays, I don't think.
So does that mean he's at what is he? What is his ideal position? The 4?
I think his ideal position is what he's playing right now. He's a 2.
He's a rock solid 2. He can't play the 3 or the 1, which is another one of his limitations. But
he's
a leading scorer for the whole year easily.
He's playing some 3 in our small ball lineups. But I just want to say just 2 quick shout outs. Jay Rosales was on the podcast last week, and you know, when you go through Norm's numbers as a starter, they're actually comparable to Steph Curry's his first MVP season. Obviously, the numbers are totally dramatically different now because of pace and space, and like those numbers are less impressive than they were when Steph first did them. But it's like he's quite out of control offensively. But again, is this because of the situation he's in? And sorry, my second part was, I think the podcast we were talking about, George, has got to be Raptors Reasonablest.
Oh no, I was thinking Raptors over everything.
Well, hey, you know what? It looks like maybe all the Raptors thinkers are in the same headspace.
You know what Raptors pod I listen to? Confederacy of Dunks. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my goodness, it's my brother.
You guys have kind of sold me on keeping Norm, but I think if we keep Norm for next year, like Lowry is not coming back, because then you would have Norm at the 2, Fred at the 1. You get a new big, and you have OG and Pascal.
So
it's kind of rough.
Before I move on, here's the wild part. I just want to say with Norm, I'm not even convinced. I think he's so amazing, and I don't want to trade him, but I feel like the season's in a little bit of a desperate situation, and you know what? Maybe that's just reason. Like Miguel, you were saying, maybe that's reason enough to not do anything. You when you're in this like panic mode, maybe don't just hit a bunch of buttons. Like maybe you have to like chill.
And for that, we always keep saying like we need this big, trade for a big, sign a big. There's just not that many bigs out there who are total game changers anymore.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of them can be had for cheap.
Yeah, and they're like affordable weirdly, because what Norm is doing scoring right now is pretty hard to replace. Like I forget who it was, but I saw someone on Twitter in the Chicago game against the Raptors when the Raptors got beat. Before it really flipped, it was kind of like, how much better is Zach LaVine than Norm at Norm's top gear? I'm not sure. He's that much better. And if you're comparing him to Zach LaVine, even on the low end, you're like, that's a really good player. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you're
think,
right.
He's definitely like Zach LaVine on his best day. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, George.
Oh, no, I agree. I also, we do need buckets right now. Our team does need offense, and it might be stupid to trade our best offensive piece. Actually, one of our best. But yeah, that's a good point. And honestly, like if I had to really think about like what objectively piece, maybe Kyle is the best piece to trade, but I don't want that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like I changed the subject.
No, it's totally okay. And I actually think I wanted to move on to just the last Raptors question anyways. Miguel, let me go to you. Okay. Yeah, just like, in this weird interim super like disease-ridden portion of the schedule, who do you think has had a bigger role? Like who's kind of like showed out and kind of showed they can do more, even though it's, in all fairness, it's left almost everyone exposed, but I think there's a couple guys that have made some plays.
Yeah, I think like objectively, you have to say Boucher is playing the best, given a bigger thing. Just in terms of like he obviously has all these limitations, but he's shown that what he can do consistently in a bench role, which is more than you can say for pretty much everyone else on the bench. Bembry has shown some real vision and like game control that's really nice to see, but you can also see him he has a low ceiling, I think, Bembry, as much as I like Bembry. I think honestly I don't know who to like really go high on there, because everyone only has tiny glimpses. Like Utah looks great in terms of some of the skills he could have access to, but he is not performing at all given a bigger role. So that makes you doubtful. But I would have to say Boucher is playing the best off the bench and given a bigger role to the point where other teams look at him and are like, oh yeah, damn, we got a plan for this guy. And I think that Bembry, clearly the Raptors trust him to like, or maybe they don't have a choice, but they're trusting him to like run point a bunch of the times. And I think he's kind of stepped up well in that regard. Too bad he has not a lot of other skills.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. I think Bembry for sure has a kind of a low ceiling, but also like a high floor, and is just a competent player. So we've seen more of that, but also, yeah, you can't do much offensively if he's left to create. Boucher as well. It's weird. I wasn't really thinking about Boucher for this question because in my mind he's so proven himself already. But I guess this was even more opportunity for him to do more stuff, and he did. I was wondering if someone's going to come in with like a hot Henry Ellenson or Paul Watson take. Yeah, George, is that where you're coming from?
I was going to say Ellison. I'm not like a huge fan necessarily, but I just was like, in the last 2 games, he's stepped up in a way, he played more minutes than Baines in the last game, I think. And he got as many bucket, I think last game, the bench was just so bad. I didn't watch it. I just looked at the statistics. But I think Henry got as many points as the entire bench, which was 6. So
Jesus,
that's pretty rough. Fun fact about Henry.
That's rough, actually.
Henry is a hardcore curler on the Chicago feed. They were talking about how he, everywhere he's been, he finds like a curling club, and they were like, he'll have no problem finding curling clubs in the Great White North. And then they're like, oh, but he's in Tampa. And then they were like, oh, but he'll find one there if I know Henry.
I like him for the Raptors. I mean, I think it's such a shitty season for the new guys. I feel bad for Flynn and him and all the 905 guys, because usually it's I think a better time to build and train people. So I would like to see them sign him for a little longer than a 10-day contract and just not expect too much from him and try and teach him, because I think he could be good for us.
No one on the bench seems to be able to contribute more than just their one specific skill. Either people are totally disappointing, like Matt Thomas, or they're like Stanley Johnson, where you're like, hey, you're hitting some shots now. Your shooting percentage has gone up, but you still, what else can you do?
He's an elite defender.
Yeah, totally.
Elite.
I can't believe he's 24 years old. He still has room to grow big time.
And he's improved so much. But.
Yes, Stanley was someone I was thinking about in this. And another guy was Paul Watson. But, Paul Watson, I think I don't want to say I was hoping he'd do more, but I kind of was. But it was also, it's such a chaotic, it's not like these players have had a ton of practice together running sets and stuff. And they're all like Lowry said in an interview, they're all role players. So that's it's tough to, usually in the Raptors organization, they really ease guys into new roles.
Yeah. And they find out what roles they're good for too, which is guys will come in thinking their role is going to be center, but then the 905 and the Raptors realize actually you'd be really good at this other thing. And it's just time and patience that this season isn't allowing.
Yeah. And Paul Watson.
I was going to say exactly that. Sorry, go ahead, Miguel.
I would say Paul Watson, this is not unique to this year. It's unique to the small player pool in the NBA. But it's hard to get yourself into a position, even like Norm, where you're allowed to work through the kinks and have an up and down season, and then you still get trusted to play well again the next season. Like Paul Watson, it's step on the floor and be amazing or get out. It's a raw deal kind of.
How about Dante Hall, right? He gets called up to the team, doesn't get to play, gets sent back down. And it's man, the NBA is pretty ruthless. And I that's why I'm always kind of stumping about more teams, more players, and not a shorter season. But I think we're good to move on to some NBA stuff.
Wait, I have one point I want to make.
Sure.
Ellison in the last game got a penalty. Wow, why can't I think?
Yeah, he got a red card.
He got a red card. I just mean for a G leaguer to get free throws is a really big deal. I don't know, he's not any amazing, but I kind of am. I'm impressed with that. And his thing he's really good at is shooting, and he hasn't been that great so far in the NBA. So that means he's pulling his weight in areas that aren't his specialty. We'll see. I hope they keep him.
How old is he, I wonder?
He's pretty young too. He was a fairly high draft pick, I think. He was part of the Raptors camp. He just got beat out by Utah. And the other guy who's killing it in the 905 was Elise Johnson.
Yeah.
But I think Elise Johnson, maybe we missed the opportunity there. But Ellenson like has skills. Like he's right there. So I think
he's a big, right?
He's a big sort of
big.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what?
Center.
Miguel hit it. He is big.
Can he play like a big? I'm not convinced yet, to be completely honest. He looks like a specialty offense player for me, which isn't necessarily a problem. Just like I'm not looking. I think he's doing well, but I'm not looking for him to be any version of a game changer. I'm kind of looking at him to replace Matt Thomas, who has turned out to be a sort of a dud this year, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I do believe you're correct on Thomas turning out to be a bit of a dud this year, especially with a lot of kind of fans behind him.
Yeah, and he also had all the opportunity in the world.
He definitely. I mean, he got playoff opportunity last year. But I think the note I want to end this Raptors segment on is George. You hit it really well. It's like we're all preaching patience. We need patience in like a season where we kind of can't have it. Like, it's not attainable. Sorry, were you going to add something?
No, I just get excited about what we're talking about, and then I realize you're trying to change segments.
Me too. Okay, me too.
But wait.
What if we threw the whole season and we just let them all learn this season? And we only play bench players.
Road trip.
Lowry's like, no, I don't want that. No.
Lowry's like, I'm a competitor. Please no.
I did that for 8 years.
Okay, let's move on for real though. Maddie, I know you got an NBA sting of some kind. It's likely Adam Silver on a tugboat. Please, good sir, give it to me.
This is Adam Silver.
Meow. Damn. Miguel, let's this is just kind of a health kind of speculation question. I feel like it's fair to say that at this point anyways, the Nets, the Sixers, and the Lakers are all contenders. Yes, LeBron is the best player on the Lakers, but it's also fair to say I think that they all have three superstars who have missed significant time or are going to miss significant time in terms of Embiid. I think it just came out like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So, yeah, I'm not sure how many games Davis has missed yet, and I'm not sure how many games KD has missed, but they're all kind of piling up, the missed games. So, yeah, Miguel, who do you think should be worrying the most?
I mean, it's easy to hate on them. Sorry, George, but I think that the Lakers, your LA home team, I feel like they should be worried. Like AD, they fared really poorly, especially at the beginning stretch without AD. They lost a lot of games, like in spite of LeBron doing so well. So I would be most worried about them. I feel like Harden and with Kyrie, they can sort of. Harden's carried a bunch of schlubs to the promised land, almost there anyways. Totally. I think the Lakers should be petrified about Davis, coming back and then getting re-injured and missing significant time. I don't think their bench is very strong.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you completely. Like, I think it's kind of tight, and if I was a Philly fan, I would be pretty worried about Embiid's knee. But
look bad.
Yeah, and just because it's Embiid and he's so big and it's his knee. But yeah, I think Philly and Brooklyn can kind of hold their spots at the top, and I think it's going to be a lot harder for LA to do that. So it's going to make the playoffs harder. But George, are you in agreement with us? Yeah. Sorry.
I just thought Philly was the one who should be the most stressed because I just feel like Embiid is such a huge part of the reason they're doing well, but I could be wrong. I don't watch the Lakers at all, even though I live here, because I have League Pass and you can't watch any local games. So I don't watch
It's
Lakers.
A design flaw, isn't it?
It really is. Like, thank God I don't live in Toronto. I'd be losing it.
It's frustrating. So, I'll tell you that much.
So can you guys not watch all the games?
Not on League Pass.
But right. But on normal cable or what?
Yeah, just on normal cable I watch them.
Yeah, but then you got to get cable, and that's a to-do.
It sucks, and it's expensive.
Yeah, So anyways, I thought Philly, like, I don't feel like Philly has that. I'm surprised they're doing so well. I feel like Ben Simmons has just played better than we thought he would. Like, he gets so much slack. All my friends from Philly like hate him, which I wish. I'm like, okay.
I've never understood the Ben Simmons hate, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. And I think it's exciting that finally, like, I give credit to Doc Rivers has gotten like Embiid and Simmons to seemingly work pretty well together. So I would be worried about them. But that said, I think Philly's going to make some bigger moves at the trade deadline. So maybe that'll offset the Embiid. And also, as we said, like, the Lakers and first of all, I'm not worried about the Nets, but
fair. Very fair.
It's like they're all going to get into the playoffs and figure it out from there. Like, I think as long as their guys are back by the playoffs, they shouldn't be too worried about anything. That said, the Lakers might want to be worried if they end up playing the Clippers in like the second round.
Mm-hmm.
That would be bad for them.
Yeah. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is the Lakers just because of the matchups of the West, whereas the East, I don't think it's that I guess, yeah, I don't.
I mean, I feel like maybe I slandered LeBron a little bit by bragging about Harden dragging bums around, where it's like, who has dragged more bums around the NBA and all the way to a ring than LeBron James?
Yeah.
But like Freddie always talks about, it's like you always think you're going to see this graceful decline or, you know, a peter out of someone's quality until, oh yeah, whatever. But sometimes things just end, you know. G-State's a totally dominant team and then it's not, you know, and because of injury or whatever the circumstance. And LeBron's total domination of the sport of basketball is already years beyond what anyone has ever achieved. And he's doing it again this year. And we shouldn't be having this conversation saying like, maybe it won't happen, but one day it's just not going to be there anymore. And it might not be like, he's a little bit worse. He's a little bit worse. He's a little bit worse. One day it might just be gone, you know, because he's old. It's health. It's life.
That reminds me of Blake Griffin a bit, even though obviously he's not comparable.
Witness. I'm always been a witness. You gotta appreciate LeBron while he's here.
Yeah. And the same with
Blake
Lowry.
Griffin. Oh my God. Blake Griffin, great example. Same with Lowry, for sure. Same with Chris Paul.
Yeah.
The longevity convo really gets me going.
Blake has shown serious decline, though. Everyone's, you know, now it's a question of like, was it Casey's fault or Detroit's fault that he fell off such a cliff, and he's just been waiting to be in a better circumstance, which is what I think a lot of people are assuming. But people assume that a lot, like with Gasol and other, you know, coming to the Lakers and other players. You're like, oh, they're just going to be this version I remember from 8 years ago, and it's like they're not that person anymore.
Oh man, I remember. You know, I remember when we lost Gasol, and I defended Gasol so much last year when people were like down on him. And I think he's just this brilliant high IQ player. But I remember listening to podcasts and people were talking about like, oh man, LeBron finally has a guy to just like he can throw it down low to. It's like he had Dwight and McGee last year. Do you know what Gasol does? I don't understand. Yeah. Like that was so confusing to me because I was like, you know, he's cool. He's a good playmaker. He can do so many things. But yeah, I mean, never get lost in the trap of like Lakers, Celtics, role players just being like talked into awards and like preposterousness. Sorry, George, go ahead.
I do feel like I realized how good Gasol was last year, though, more so when he left. Does that make sense? Like I was like, I'm so glad he's going to the Lakers. I want him in a good spot. I don't want him on my team, but now I'm kind of like, yeah, he had a lot we needed.
Yeah, I mean,
he definitely would be our best big.
And I think you also see what it's like to have a big that's like constantly making sure that the other four players he plays with are not confused about where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, it was
that is like that. I think people they like to overlook that, but it's just I mean when you have a coach on the floor, it's just a totally different story. And we had a couple with Kyle and Gasol, but. We've moved on from Gasol and Ibaka still hurts, but that's a good segue because they're both really cool players. Matt, please come on in for this because I want to know your opinion as well. I feel like I should ask this like once a month. It might be a fun question. George, let's go to you first. Who is the NBA's coolest player, however you define coolness.
Okay, yeah, I have a top 3. Can I tell you that?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Okay, so at number 3, 1 being the coolest, I have I think Fred VanVleet is number 3 because he's like, chill as an ice cube.
He's cool, man. He's totally cool. Yep.
And he's got a cool backstory, as almost every player does. So I had him kind of tied with Karis LeVert, but Fred's on the Raptors, so he bumps him out of the way.
Okay, yeah. See you, Karis.
Okay,
Karis
number 2, I have Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
I think he's pretty cool. Lots of reasons, and one is that his first girlfriend was a little person, and I think that people, I just think that's a fun fact, and he's cool because of a lot of reasons, and that's one of them.
Right on.
And then the coolest player in the NBA, I think, is Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, he's definitely pretty Jimmy showing up in a
stole
Harley.
my answer. That's my number 1 coolest player as well, is Jimmy Butler. And I'm not sure that it was true until he dominated the bubble. And that it was okay, this man has been saying stuff that was actually true. We should have believed him all along. He's cool. However, the coolest people aren't always the people you would actually want to spend time with, because I'm not sure Butler would be that nice. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I bet he's silly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's if you're cool with him, things are wonderful. If you're not, it's probably not wonderful.
Very cool.
So is Jimmy your number 1?
Me?
Yeah.
My number 1 is absolutely Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
I could try and re-edit on the fly, but that's the first person who came to mind.
No, hey, this is good. This is
when I read the question.
We got a consensus, Matt.
But I got one more. I just want to say, at the risk of sounding like a big time homer, I think that maybe the coolest player in the NBA soon to be is OG Anunoby.
Oh,
I think that he is easily funnier than everybody. His one-liners and cultivated quiet persona are so funny. There's a lot of comparisons to Kawhi's quiet, but Kawhi's quiet is
very different.
Very different. OG's is
more isolating. OG's is a friendly quiet.
OG's is also a bit more whatever, Gen Z kind of
totally Gen Z.
And so dry, so Canadian dry, even though he's from England.
Canadian dry, yeah, he's a ginger ale OG.
Yeah.
Maddie,
good ones.
Did you have a coolest player?
Well, you guys both had some really good picks, and the one that I did think of was OG, and I thought that now that Serge has left, and they had that weird episode of Avec Class where OG was calling out Serge kind of for stealing his style or something.
It
just kind of seemed like a torch was being passed between them there of coolness, and I think, as I've said before, once OG submits to wearing prescription goggles,
you're right.
Matt says
this once every episode.
Then that's when he'll be the coolest. I want to see, I don't know if they're tinted or they're bug. They have a bug eye design on them or something.
Easy with the bug eyes.
Oh, like a goalie
the German scientist goggles. I've got a pair of those. He could borrow those, put prescriptions to them. Something, and then that will solidify him for the next 15 years. It's the coolest.
I have a question. I have a question about coolness.
Okay, but let me just say mine. Mine's Embiid.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Okay, but I think Embiid is he's, I don't know. He's so emotional that I feel like he's now. As soon as you say what are we talking about, I'm like, oh god.
He's funny. No, he's funny.
But he's funny. I always think it's so cool that he cried after the shot. And yeah, I guess he does some annoying things though, maybe. But I don't know. He's and when he wore that phantom mask, like over half of his face, and rang the bell in Philly. Wait, I want Matt to come back. I feel like I jumped in with Embiid. And your video absence is bothering me. Miguel, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, here's a question, because I was talking to my wife, Elisa Nobrega, sometime guest and big NBA fan. And I was like, who's cool? Elisa. Who's cool? And you know who she said immediately without blinking? And I was like, huh. She said Tyler Hero.
Oh no.
I was like, is Tyler? I think Tyler Hero specifically not cool. However, Jack Harlow did make a song about him, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero is like, he's cool, which makes him not cool. You know what I mean? Like he's everything a cool guy would be, but it's like
he's grade 8 cool. He's grade 8 swimming, like a swim party cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only thing that makes him cool legitimately is that Jimmy Butler likes him. Only thing that makes him legit cool. Even the rap song doesn't.
Then that means the winner is Jimmy, because if it's like you're cool by association. But Matt, I feel like I cut you off with my Embiid. Do you have any more on your OG goggles bug stuff?
No, I feel like I've given him enough, things to work with here.
Okay.
Different one every night, different themes. Like I want him to go full out with the goggles, and I also want his shot to get way better with the goggles. Like doesn't.
Wow, it's already good. But okay,
better.
So you're bringing in Flubber. I can tell, and I'm very into it. Flubber has made an entrance to the pod. You never know when it's going to come. The Flubber reference. There it was. There it goes. Okay. I think that takes us to some quickish questions. What do you say, buddies? You want to wrap this up with some quickish questions?
Yeah.
All right. Maddie, please, good sir, give me that beautiful quickish questions sting.
Quickish Questions.
Okay, we have made it to quickish questions, the most hectic possible segment. I'm going to try and read these questions as clearly and concisely as I possibly can. I may stutter, slur, stroke. You know what? I said I was going to drop
a stroke. That's
yeah. You know what? That's too serious.
Not worth
said
it.
Seizure last week. Now you're saying stroke.
You know
Stutters
what?
are fun. Strokes are I'm
going to write this down next time because I don't. I want to leave the serious ailments out of my bit. But yeah, you have to answer as quick as you possibly can. No ums, ahs, stalling, like looking around, introducing new topics, nothing like that. Maddie, I'm looking at you, waiting for your stall tactics angrily.
Guilty.
Here we go.
But yeah, let's do this. George, Miguel, Matt. Here we go. George, what do the Raptors do in the offseason to get competitive again?
I think they all just like hang out all summer and really get to know each other.
That's good.
Great answer. Miguel, will we get a win before the sideline players come back?
No. I've seen enough to say no.
I sadly agree. Matt.
Yes.
Did the NBA do the Raptors dirty by not postponing games?
Did the NBA do the Raptors dirty by so that they're playing without their guys? Well, I think they're just sticking to the rules, though, aren't they? Like you have to have 8 that can play or something.
Yep, yeah, it's the rules. So I guess
But
Matt's
Raptors
hater. Everybody,
Old stickler Matt.
I'm all for the rules.
rules, Maddie. Kind of making Maddie to an unfair villain. Everybody.
Matt wants to be a ref.
Oh god.
You come here for the stings, and I give you Matt's slander. It's terrible. George, Masai makes a move, or Masai holds off? Question mark.
Oh, I think there's not going to be any moves at the trade deadline. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's going to hold off.
I agree.
Miguel.
Thanks, Miguel.
Should Tony Brothers be charged with aiding and abetting for the assault done to Chris Boucher by the Hornets on Saturday night?
I think Tony Brothers has many crimes to answer for in his past, but not that one. That's on Boucher. Boucher, come on.
Okay, you know what?
Fair.
Earn
Fair.
some respect, Boucher.
Hard but fair. Maddie, the Raptors will finish the season in the number blank seed in the Eastern Conference.
I think they're going to finish. I'm gonna say 7th.
Oof. Yikes.
That's tough.
That's playing.
George, if we added Andre Bargnani to our rotation right now, how many more wins do we get?
I don't think we get any more wins.
Correct. Bargnani?
-4.
In the spirit of that question, I'm gonna throw in just two more here. Miguel, if we were to add Hidu Turkoglu to this current squad, how many more wins?
-6, and everybody hates each other.
Matty D, if we were to add, let me do you solid here, Patty Mills to the lineup, how many more wins would the Raptors have?
You know what? I don't hate that so much, Mr. Patty Mills. Also, LaMarcus Aldridge, he needs a team right now. Maybe we need a big. He's a bit of a power forward, is he not?
Yeah, come on down,
Aldridge.
LA.
He said it. Oh, I let him go on my fantasy team. I can't
Matt.
deal with it anymore.
Matt's freaking out about his fantasy team.
I'll pick him up if he goes to the Raptors. Come on, Aldridge.
All right, last question. All play. George. And you know the questioner has asked us to work together on this one, so we're gonna do a 5. Who is our All NBA first team actors? So let's just do this. It's like current, right? Let's do current.
For a point guard position, and I don't remember this guy's name, so it'll be fun because you all get to guess. It's Denzel Washington's son. He's in Tenet.
Michael Washington?
Maybe. Do you know who I mean? He's also in the. Yeah,
he's a better actor than his dad. Ooh.
He's going to play point. And that's what I'm answering the question right?
Yep.
Okay.
For me, it's got to be Louis Armstrong.
No explanation needed. Just run with that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, just let Louis in. Miguel, do you have a nomination for the?
Yeah, I'll pick Stephen Merchant, who helped create The Office, because he's like quite tall. He's like 6'7".
You're thinking basketball. That's good.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about basketball. What are we talking about here? Let's give me some height.
Fair. Matt,
is he over 50 years old? Probably.
Sure. Who knows?
I'd also like to make a nomination for point guard, and that is Gilbert Gottfried.
Nice. Yeah. So if he turns it over, he's like the aristocrats or whatever.
Wouldn't mind seeing him argue with the refs.
Yeah,
totally. It would be a pretty good bit.
I just want to say, I think I'm the only one that took this question seriously.
Yeah, you know what? It went off the rails quick. But okay, let's all nominate one person for the fifth spot. And listeners, please, let us know who you think the winner is. So George, for the fifth and final spot on the all acting team, who's your nomination?
There's this TV show called Mindhunter, and in it, a guy plays a serial killer who, have you guys seen? I forget which killer, but the one who's like stupid and tall. Anyways, I think he would be number 5.
Okay, you're going to height. Miguel introduced height. This is good.
So George really took this question seriously, as you let us know.
Listen, I live in Hollywood. Very serious.
You've probably seen all these people play pickup basketball.
Yeah, we've got a pickup Saturday.
Miguel, who's your?
I'm going Kevin James, because even if we lose, he'll fall down and it'll be funny. He'll bump into stuff. He'll do that thing where his shorts, his shirt is tucked into his shorts and underwear. He'd be the perfect guy to throw the ball off his back in an inbounds. I think it would be fun.
Love it.
Levity.
Matt.
I'm gonna go with Mr. New York, Michael Rappaport.
Oh no!
He's got all kinds of beef with LeBron and everyone else, and James Dolan, and
we'll send Rappaport out there to throw hands.
Yeah, he's our dirty foul guy.
He plays for the Pistons for sure.
I just forgot the person I was thinking of. Oh crap. Who was it?
What do they look like?
I was gonna say Kermit the Frog. But you know what? That's just a dud. You guys' answers are better. If it comes back last minute, I'll throw it in. But I don't think it's going. So that's Quickish Questions, everybody. Thank you.
Smooth.
Yeah, nice smooth. Not being able to answer my own questions. Pretty sick.
You had a lot of responsibility.
I got a lot. Yeah, there's so much going on.
You got to take down this Christmas tree.
Totally. That's. I was going to reference the tree.
Just not having a stroke is huge for you.
Don't have one, I say. I'm with George. Don't have one.
And from now on, not even mentioning it. So
big.
That's the next step. Yeah, for
medical stuff is private, right? So
I hear that.
Take a baby aspirin so we can feel better.
Sure. That came out of nowhere. No worries.
I'm starting to feel worried about stuff like that. I take a baby aspirin.
The way you said that though was so creepy, and I thought you were just gonna say.
Maybe you could take a baby aspirin.
Take a half a baby aspirin.
ASMR
so that you don't have a stroke.
where we mention all weird different things about aspirin in different tones. Okay, that's it though. We made it to the end of the pod. Thank you all so much for listening and sharing and spreading the good word. Miguel, George,
Jesus stuff.
Yeah, that's some Jesus stuff.
That's the good news. My bad.
Yeah, the good news of the Jesus. Miguel, what's up, man?
What's up?
What can people check out? We're going to plug your Insta, your Twitter, but what should people see on a regular basis? Lady Dix is airing.
No, it's not, because the show's name has been changed to Pretty Hard Cases. So check out Pretty Hard Cases on CBC and CBC Gem, and you'll catch this guy as a jerk cop in a couple more episodes before the season is over. And also, please listen to the Tony Ho podcast on CBC Podcasts. We have another season coming soon.
Sick. Well, sorry for, you know what? I got to do more research because
it used to be called Lady Dix.
It did, and then it's not anymore because it's not.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
We get it.
Yeah, I get it. After saying it a couple times, I really get it. George,
Hey.
What's up? Where can people check you out?
Well, as you said earlier, I do make videos on for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Every Monday, I do my NBA picks, and this has been a rocky NBA season, as you all know. But my bet won on Monday, so that's pretty exciting. Thank you. It's hard to give people advice when you're wrong every time. And then I might. This is premature, but there's this new app called Colorcast, and you film yourself while you watch sports, and I might do that for Raptors games. Listen, I don't have a lot going on.
Hey, Colorcast,
cool.
It's going to be great.
Colorcast.
I'm gonna
just check it out. Yeah,
be proud.
It's so new. I even got the handle I wanted, which is Girl George. It's really exciting. So let's all get on that and get fame.
Things are hot. You can for sure get the handle. Whatever handle you like.
When you need an invite to get on it, that's when it's still cool.
Yeah.
Whoa, Tyler Hero's on here? Cool.
Oh, but it'd be cooler if Jimmy was,
Jimmy invited him to be on it.
Buddies, that's the end of the pod. Thank you both so much. Maddie, if you feel like we're good to go, please, good sir, just give me those sweet words. Okay.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.